All right, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. It's 5:53, and we're starting about 5 minutes early, so it's okay. And we got uh good brother Tin Man,
Tin
aka
Man.
uh Tin Man, aka Darth Bong. That would have been a great South Park and SNL segment right there. This afternoon,
Hey, you
tonight,
call
we're
it Great
about.
Jedi TV, man. I had to go out and get myself a lightsaber.
Oh man. Okay. All right. This is the last of the trilogy of exposing pedos and groomers in the gaming communities, and also the gaming uh in general.
Yeah.
And this is we the first part one we did Club Penguin. Uh, part two we did Roblox. Now this one is going to be kind of bizarre, weird, and unorthodox. No way. Now, this is about.
You're not going to be
Groomers
playing with
Express.
yourself on camera like I just was, are you?
Oh, I wish.
Get your lightsaber. Let's go.
Nah, more of a bong. High this one is.
You like the little green thing, don't you?
But for the past, I would say 10 years. I'm gonna go there about 10 years. Anybody on the Xbox, whether it's the PlayStation 1 up to the Xbox Series S and X, also with the PlayStation 4, 5. Well, let's just say.
Let's just say newer generation consoles. Anything from Xbox 360 to present day machines, whether it be Sony or
Microsoft.
anything that has an online platform.
We're also looking into the PC community as well, because there's been a lot as of late that many players, young as 10, 12 years old, they're also PC players, as well.
Yeah, well, online gaming really did start with the PC systems, and then Microsoft with the Xbox and Sony with their PlayStation systems were quick to follow suit. And the internet has always been a targeting ground for children, whether we want to admit it or not. That's why we had all these safety protocols, was because children were always being targeted, whether it be social media platforms, gaming platforms. I mean, even Have a Hotel, man. I mean, look at the chaos that Anonymous crafted with Have a Hotel. You create a little black character with a big ass afro and a freaking tuxedo, and they lined them up, blocked off access to the swimming pool, and formed swastikas and all kinds of other shit. There was a lot of leeway that allowed for unorthodox things to happen. And unfortunately, some people like to take it to those extremes of trying to get their hands on little kids.
The one thing we missed, the one thing I forgot to mention about the Roblox from part two is that there were games stuff on the servers for adults, and there's about 6 to 8 of them, but they had to. I mean, it got bad that they had to get rid of almost half of it.
Yeah.
And
because a bunch of creeps will get on there and try to diddle little kids.
Yeah, I mean they had a wedding and Club Penguin on a Club Penguin server. Like,
wow,
this is not going to go well here. Anybody who's ever played the PC, the Xbox, or PlayStation Wii or the Nintendo Switch. Come on here if you were a victim of groomers and pedos in the gaming communities. Come on here and say your piece. We don't judge here. That's not what we do. We hear you out. We listen, and this is a place where you can be safe and there's no judging.
Yeah, are comments enabled?
Yeah.
Yeah, so comments are enabled. Come and join the conversation. If you have any thoughts, opinions, any personal experiences of things you've seen or might have experienced directly or indirectly, please, by all means, share.
Yeah, come on here. I could say one of the controversies, and there were quite a few players on the Xbox that have experienced scams. They got scammed.
Yeah.
And then he had site links, gamergirls.com, where you could watch through a webcam of girls play bare ass or topless.
Yeah.
I mean that's for if you're 18 and up, but the thing is, you got kids and teens playing on here, getting the link, and they have no idea why is it on a console. You can even get it on the PlayStation, because the thing is, it's not. I mean, this link should be towards adults, man.
Agreed.
Enough.
But kids are going to get their hands on it, and it's up again,
Yeah.
like we talked about last week. It's up to the parents to regulate and make sure that their kids aren't gaining access to it, because you can only have so many laws and so many provisions in place to keep children out of these areas. But they're going to find workarounds. They're going to find a way, and it's up to the parents to make sure that their kids aren't exposed to that. Otherwise, the government's going to step in, and that's where things really get out of control, guys.
It has gone out of control during the Club Penguin era, the Roblox. Now you got what's it one game besides Roblox that are playing that's very popular now these days. Shit.
You were talking like Call of Duty and Modern Warfare earlier, but I don't think that's where you're going with this.
No. It's a game that you download on your device, in your console, on your PC, where it's basically a battle royale game where you shoot other players for whatever, and
Well, that really narrows it down.
Yeah. Trying to figure out what's that game. Trying to think. They sold skin characters in Walmart and Target for the longest time. It's competing with a Call of Duty Warzone right now.
I think I know what you're talking about. Fuck, what is it? It's not Minecraft. It's that other one.
Minecraft as well.
Yeah, Minecraft is a very big target for pedos. But
that's
the one you were talking about. I'm trying to think. It's going to bug me until I figure it out. Fuck it. I don't know. I'm not a big gamer, so this is like my world.
These games we're talking about have been targeted where kids can go and be safe and play that parents can trust. Well, you can't trust Club Penguin anymore. You can't trust Roblox, right? Can you trust Minecraft? I
Well,
mean,
again, it goes back to it. Like it's not that really that these people's
the
job.
parents need to be parents and make sure they monitor what the kids do.
Yeah, because
Now,
there's only so much that the gaming community and developers can do to keep kids safe. At the end of the day, it's the parents' job. And if the parents don't do the job, the government's going to do the job, and that's what's going to be bad.
I remember what I said about what was it last week? I remember my son used to play on, he used to go on to Club Penguin when he came over for the weekend. I have my son on the weekends, and he had school during the week, and he'll come on my computer and Dad, can I get on a computer and play on Club Penguin? Oh, sure, go ahead. I'll be in the room watching, make sure that he's okay. Because as a dad, that's my job. As a dad, that's my job to monitor my son. At the time, he was about 9, 10 years old, and he would talk to his classmates, his friends, have fun. But now these days, parents are no longer becoming parents.
No,
They're
everybody else
letting
raise their kids for them.
yeah, exactly. They're letting the game platform raise the kids for them. That's time.
Well, didn't we have the same argument back in the early 2000s, in the 90s, and even in the late 80s with television raising our kids, video games raising our kids? Our parents would stick us outside and wouldn't let us come back in until the sun came down and the street lights came on. It was the same thing. Parents having television raise their kids. I was thinking about it the other day where when Pee Wee Herman got caught up in that scandal where he was doing a little something in a movie theater where he shouldn't have been, and it was this big old scandal.
Fortnite.
Yeah, Fortnite. Thank you.
Fortnite
was the other big gaming thing. I couldn't think of it, but yeah, it was Fortnite. But like back in the 90s and 2000s, Pee Wee Herman got in trouble for beating off in a movie theater, and my mom wouldn't let me watch Pee Wee's Playhouse. Like I would fucking know as a little kid what Pee Wee Herman was doing in a movie theater, or that what he was doing on Pee Wee's Playhouse would have any correlation to that. What he did on camera versus what he did off camera would have anything. One would have anything to do with the other. But out of boycott, my mom, along with many other parents around the country, in a boycott against Pee Wee Herman, refused to let their kids watch Pee Wee's Playhouse. And as kids, we don't know what the fuck was going on. They're boycotting it. They're protesting. And they want to say it's protecting the kids. What the fuck are the kids going to fucking know about what's going on with Pee Wee Herman in real life?
That term we did not know about. I mean, we were kids. We were watching Pee Wee Herman. I remember watching him every Saturday, almost every Saturday morning.
Yeah, he would come on before Muppet Babies. I remember. And I love me some Muppet Babies, man. I grew up. I watched Pee Wee's Playhouse, Muppet Babies, Ninja Turtles. You know, that was my jam back in the late 80s, early 90s. So what the fuck would I know what Pee Wee Herman was doing in a movie theater?
My jam was cartoons that were based off a game from Atari. Q*bert, Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, Donkey Kong. All those games were based off Atari games, pole position, and we grew up raising ourselves, but yeah, we had parents that made sure that we didn't fuck up, and again, horror movies of the 80s, like moms would boycott a movie about a killer Santa Claus,
And, that was a weird thing. Like, my mom boycotted Pee Wee Herman because of what he did in the movie theater. But she'd let me watch Friday the 13th. Like, I grew up absolutely loved the Friday the 13th, the original films. I grew up watching those. My mom had no problem with it. But Pee Wee Herman jacking off in the bathroom, that was a problem. Or Power Rangers. Every parent had a issue with Power Rangers because kids were imitating the moves. I'm not going to lie, I was one of them. But, you know, there were a lot of things that parents had problems with that we kids back then didn't know and understand. Like a lot, like Batman Returns, for instance. Little kids loved Batman. They didn't understand the complexities of what was going on in Batman Returns. Little kids didn't understand that. All they knew it was their favorite superhero fighting one of his most iconic villains, Batman and Catwoman. Little kids didn't understand the nuances that the Penguin was a fucking pervert and a rapist. They didn't understand that Max Schreck was a fucking sexist murderer. They didn't understand why Penguin's parents dumped baby Penguin in a fucking sewer. They didn't understand things to the degree that adults would understand it. They just think, oh, Penguin lives in the sewer, so this is setting the stage for that. You know, a little kid's not going to understand it. It's just going to see their favorite superhero battling a supervillain. But parents, did they not have a fucking shit fit about it?
Oh, yeah.
To what the McDonald's had to pull their toy line.
Well, if you look at every villain in Batman, each villain has we call it a representation of a disorder.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at the Joker, look at the Penguin, look at Riddler, look at Two-Face, and I mean all these characters that represent a disorder.
Yeah. But even then, we were coming off of the era of the Adam West TV show. Prior to that, the only Batman we had was the Adam West TV show and the comics. Now, comics weren't that mainstream, but when Batman hit the big screen, all you had in terms of movies and theatricals with superheroes was the Superman movies and the Adam West campy Batman stuff.
Yeah.
And Tim Burton, he took it to a very dark realm, and he got away with it with the original 89 film. But
I remember that
a lot of people did not sit well with Batman Returns with a lot of parents.
My mother took me and my sister to see Batman in '89. And I mean, there's a time when you had the Glow, Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. And I remember watching that late night when I should have been in bed, man. You know.
Yeah, that's a lot of things that parents had a problem with too. Was wrestling back in the day. Kids trying to imitate that. You know, me and my buddy Wade, we would beat the hell out of each other in his backyard. We'd hit each other with everything, including the kitchen sink. You know, that's just how we were. And parents had a big shit fit about it because essentially these programs, video games, movies, and sports entertainment were raising their kids instead of them raising their kids.
The one thing that we weren't, I mean, the one thing we didn't know, I mean, the absolute one thing that we didn't know as kids that we thought movies were awesome. We had a favorite actor that played a favorite character. And did not know that Hollywood harbored pedophilia. Did not know that.
No, when Michael Jackson came, with that whole thing when Michael Jackson came out the first time around with Macaulay Culkin and all that.
93.
Yeah. Parents were flipping the fuck out because they didn't know what the fucking thing was like. Oh, shit. This guy who we looked up to, you know, who was this icon, was being labeled as a child predator. Now, we know now because of the Epstein files, he was actually protecting children. And what had happened with, you know, 93 and after was the pot calling the kettle black. But back then, we didn't have the internet. We didn't have access to information that we have access to now. And parents were thinking, oh, crap, this guy was a fucking creep.
Because the media, they ran on it. They ran on it because he was actually looking at buying half of Sony.
Yeah.
Half of Sony.
Yeah, because he wanted the rights to his catalog. And didn't he also own the Beatles catalog as well?
Yeah.
Or was that Prince?
I
know it was a similar issue with
he
Prince.
owned most of the Beatles catalog.
Yeah. And he was very outspoken about the globalists and things that were happening, talking about things that happened to Mariah Carey and whatnot. He was very, very vocal about that. And not only that people saw that, but the mainstream made sure you saw the whole scandal with Macaulay Culkin and all that. And it was bad.
It was like the
because these were the things that they trusted to raise their children. So they didn't have
Eric Carter, his brother was a member of the Backstreet Boys. And his mom got a visit from the FBI, and they wanted to ask him some questions about Michael Jackson. And his mom goes, "Tell me what happened." What? Tell me what happened. What do you mean? And he said, "Nothing happened. Nothing happened." Man, like, I mean, it's all about even to this day, you know. I got done watching the Cult in Hollywood and shit. Like, man, everything evolved around this fucking nonsense, man. And a few years ago, you had Gamergate, right? Gamergate, you know, holy crap, you know.
Yeah, and then
like
Pizzagate,
like
Will Ferrell
what the
caught
fuck
up in
is?
that.
Oh yeah, what the
A lot
fuck
of
is
people love Will
Gamergate?
Ferrell, but didn't know that he was caught up in Pizzagate. That's one of the
The
reasons
whole
why I
the
don't
whole
like watching
thing.
Will Ferrell. I can't stand him.
The whole thing about Gamergate is that you have a reporter for a gaming magazine trying to ruin a career of somebody in the industry. Okay.
Yeah.
It's the pre Me Too movement bullshit. Okay.
Yeah.
Try to ruin someone's career. And then you had the feminist movement going on. You had a woman named Anita Sarkeesian, who's a feminist and was involved in Gamergate, right? She says, "I don't play video games." You can see her play video games and complain about why are guys looking at Catwoman's ass. Catwoman wore the nice tight outfit that shit her body. Look.
Yep, always has.
You have women too. You have women that find Catwoman and Harley Quinn. Holy shit. I mean, then complaints about, well, here I'm trying to move Batman around. I can't see his ass. It's a fucking game. It's a fucking game. Look. Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy, Catwoman, right? So what? Guys look at it that way. We're comic book nerds, okay? That's like me with Chitara of Thundercats. What a bush.
Yeah, well, I
mean, it's pure bullshit. You know, I mean, feminism is also ruining this shit too. You have your pedos, your groomers, and feminists. Come on, man, dude.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense now why they're making all these mainstream superhero heroine characters kids now, like April O'Neil. She used to be an adult reporter. Now, in recent years, since the 2013 cartoon, they turned her into a teenager. And with the most recent installment, no disrespect to the black community, but a black, out of shape teenager. Like, that character was weirdly shaped. And she didn't look like a black teenager. She looked like a black woman who had 3 kids who's pretending to be a teenager. Like, feminism took sexy out of the sexy female side characters. They took that out of the equation, like hardcore.
Straight up. And you got this one group in Australia, and I mean, out of Australia, an Aussie feminist went after Steam. Was it Steam? Was it Steam or Stream? That company is. I mean, it's a game platform. She went after that company because of the certain games that kids shouldn't play. Like, okay, time out. Look, each individual across the country, across the planet, okay, each individual, we all have that one particular favorite game we play. That's why we get it. That's why we play it.
Yep.
We're not all fans of every game.
No.
Individually, we're all fans of particular games we play, right? Yeah, of course. But the thing is, not every child plays these kind of games.
Yeah.
My son, he was 8, 9 years old, started to play Resident Evil. And that is zombies. He's seen the movies. Every movie that came out.
Yeah.
He had the games. He played the games and seen the movie and even read the book, Resident Evil. There's even a Resident Evil game for your phone, for your tablet. Hello. You know?
Yeah, it's a very marketable thing. You know, just like Mortal Kombat was back in the day. Parents back in the 90s were having a shit fit about Mortal Kombat. And I mean, to each their own, but this just goes back to the age-old conversation of, are video games, are all these respected medias bad for our children? Well, not if you're there to be a fucking parent, bitch. You want the rest of the world to fucking raise your fucking kids so you don't have to, while you can sit around watching soap operas smoking dope.
One of my favorite illusionists, one half of Penn Teller, he was on the Wendy Williams show, and they talked about video games and violence. Video games is art. Okay.
Yep.
Anybody with a level head will tell you, video games don't kill people. People kill people. The gun can be on the table, no one dies. Unless some dumb shit says, well, I'm going to mass kill a couple of squirrels. No. People kill people. You know, the worst bunch is the ones that have mental health problems and try to bring fantasy into reality.
Yes.
And again, any sane-minded person will think fantasy is in the fantasy world. This is reality.
Yeah.
Movies, TV, right? Literature, video games, right? Art. It's all art.
Now, you can have art depicting reality, and, you know, therefore you make the counter argument in the reverse. Art depicting reality, reality depicting art. And I think that's where a lot of people are using that as a crutch. But it does, I would say it kind of segues into where we're at now with the present argument of, online predator issues and whatnot. And it goes back to the same argument that gamers made against parents back in the day. It's watch your fucking kids. You don't want them to be targeted. You don't want them to do dumb shit, reenacting the shit they see on TV and in movies. Keep a check on them. Be a parent. You don't want your kid to wind up falling a victim to human trafficking? Monitor what they're doing online.
There was a couple of cases where a couple of kids, teens they're playing on Fortnite, were being groomed by a pedophile on Fortnite.
Yeah.
Look at Jeffrey Epstein. He got an Xbox.
He did.
That was finally brought out a few months ago.
Yep.
The guy.
I'm taking you with me. I gotta go run around the house real quick. But I will stay with you.
Okay.
As best I can.
All right. I mean, look at again, Jeffrey Epstein. He got into Xbox Live and was grooming kids. He was grooming kids as well. And here. All right. The thing is, you got to realize gaming's fun and all. It is. But you have to also watch your kids, man. I remember my niece, she was just not even a year old, not even 3 yet. I got her a little gaming system, but it was an educational gaming system for educational because and she could learn how to count, spell, read. That is what little kids need, and it's concerning, very very concerning, and I mean, you know what would happen next. Um, well, here in part 3, Peedoes and Groomers in the Xbox Live PSN PC communities, exposing groomers and pedos, because there are groomers and pedos on places where kids can be safe and parents can trust them, because that's the main target, is places where kids can be safe and parents can monitor and trust. But ever since the early 2000s, mid 2000s, it's really got kind of holy crapish, Club Penguin, Roblox, Minecraft, Fortnite, Toontown. I mean, it's fun to play games. It's fun being a gamer, play video games. But the thing is, you got to watch your kids, man. Um, you really got to know here, man. And it is sad. It is very sad on all levels here, on all levels. It is. Um, it's to a point that more, hey man, the more you realize that your kids are not the same in the long run, over because they could be hiding something because of what they fear. I mean, again, you got Club Penguin, you got Roblox, Minecraft, and even Fortnite. These are places where kids should be safe and parents should trust. But because of pedos and rumors, like whether it's Jeffrey Epstein or Jeffrey Marsh, you will have your groomers and pedos no matter what your kids do. I mean, you got a kid named Schlepp who collaborated with Hansen, Chris Hansen, exposing predators. They collaborated to expose pedos and groomers on Roblox. Okay,
Yep.
what about Fortnite and Minecraft? I mean, we all know that they got some there too.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it has to do with allowing access to a lot of the LGBTQ trans information, and some of which you cannot differentiate with the pedophile dynamic because pedophiles try to ingrain themselves into these theologies. In fact, pedophilia is been trying to become part of the LGBTQ community for the longest time and integrate itself sew itself into that ideology, even though they were kind of already there. You know, if you look at the varying elements of the LGBTQ movement, you can find traces of pedophilic fingerprints all over it. So it's not surprising that pedophilia tries to integrate itself into these communities, and therefore, on the grounds of legalized inclusion and acceptance of the LGBTQ community, that these variables are going to slip on through, and why you don't have as many regulations, because it's kind of an oxymoron. You can't eliminate one without eliminating the other because they're so well intertwined, and it was designed that way. Nothing against the gay community. I'm not calling anybody from the gay community a pedophile. I'm just saying sick people are the ones who create these fucking movements, and they deliberately intertwine different ideologies and pedophilia. It's like furries and bestiality, homosexuality and pedophilia. It's all intertwined. Now, you may be ascribed to one of those things. You may be a furry and not into bestiality, but it's intertwined nonetheless. You may be gay and have no interest in children, but because of some sicko, it's intergrained and interwoven into the fabric of the LGBTQ theology systems. Even though that is something you want no part of, it's still there because some sicko designed it that way.
Okay, we got some. Let's see here. I think we got a comment here somewhere. Comment?
No, Connor messaged on Facebook.
Okay.
And that is a completely unrelated topic.
What?
The lightsabers.
Oh, okay.
The lightsaber joke from earlier.
Yeah.
Lightsaber bomb.
The one. Hi, this one is.
Hi, this one is.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I can agree with that. I mean, you have that organization, the NAMBLA bullshit.
Yeah.
The thing is, you can't take a crime and make it a orientation. It's still a crime.
Well, again, it comes back to theologies. How many decades ago was it considered a crime to have interracial relationships? how long ago was it that it was criminal to engage in a homosexual act? Sodomy was illegal at one point. Interracial relationships were illegal at one point. And now it has become the pretext of morality versus legalities. And at which point you argue what is moral, what is right, what is wrong. The ideas of what is right and wrong have become so skewed in modern day society that it makes it so much easier to sit there and say that a pedophile is no different than a lesbian, that love is love, and that it's not pedophile, it's minor attracted persons, or whatever the fuck they try to call themselves. It's manipulating the system. It's the same as manipulating religious theology. You take a piece of scripture and you twist it to mean whatever the hell you want. You twist the scripture out of context. It's also twisting the ideas of what is and is not morale and what is and is not legal. It's twisting theology. And that's because so much has changed and so fast that, again, these theologies are made by people that are fucking sickos and have these ideologies interwoven with sick, demented shit in order to skew the lines of morality. And therefore, you cannot have distinguished bylaws on gaming platforms without violating some sort of statute of cultural acceptance.
That whole idea, I think, it's getting really across the line. When I mean, like, it's like walking into a minefield.
It is.
And way out there, way out there. A few years ago, I remember getting these messages on the Xbox. In my mind, I'm sitting there. I paused the game. I kind of sitting there like, this is bullshit. Like, you get links to a site, which is a adult site, really, of gamergirls.com. That's the shit you would see on fucking Pornhub. That shit kind of thing,
Yeah.
Gamer girls masturbating while playing Tomb Raider. Just like Warcraft. Facing on an emu.
That poor emu.
Yeah, exactly. That's what he said.
Now all he does is sell car insurance.
Guy gets keys back.
I guess. Gotta make a living somehow.
Yeah, just make sure that she don't fart. Hope that she don't fart on the car door.
Jesus.
But, ladies and gentlemen, look, it's getting weird every fucking year. For the past, how long they've been, You had monster movies, comic books, now video games, all that shit. It's ruining the youth. No, do you know what's ruining the youth?
Parents not doing their job.
People who, well, that too, and people who have a fetish of kids.
Yeah.
We're talking about politicians, clergymen, teachers, men and women. Boy Scouts, coaches, and shit.
Yeah. Now, that's another thing that bears the question. Like, what the hell is happening in the school system nowadays? Like, every time I turn around, it's some female teacher got caught having sex with her students. And I'm not defending the teachers in this, but god damn it, where the hell were these teachers when we were in school?
Exactly.
And what's with these dumb fucking kids that can't keep their damn mouth shut that they got some nookie? My God, I look at this, and I'm not condoning what the teachers were doing. They should not have been doing it. I agree wholeheartedly. It is wrong. But at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, damn it, where the hell were these teachers when I was in school? I was a horny teenage kid too. I'm not gonna lie. And that part of me just
We
goes,
all were.
where the fuck were they when I was a kid?
I remember watching Peedoes Dallas 3 at the living room and just cranking one out, man, you know.
Oh, God forbid your parents ever walked home and saw that.
No, they were asleep. It's just that common sense is, you know, I mean, I remember being up on the weekends watching softcore porn. I mean, you see, I mean,
Cinemax.
Only thing you see is just the top part, but not the field of play.
Genitals.
Yeah. But that's our generation. But now these days you got fucking smartphones and shit. You can just, you know, I mean, you got crazy ass people doing weird shit, and they're posting it on social media or on the internet, like masturbating while driving down 95.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can really make anything disgusting if you really want to think about it. I mean, this is a video I made a couple years ago at a laundromat, and they had this little claw machine, and I just clowned like a motherfucker. This is a prime example of where anything could be taken out of context and made fucking wrong as a motherfucker. Small fact of life. If you including this thing, like this bitch on her, it's like,
damn.
That robot's jumping for joy, like, and I'm gonna film it. The elephant's just sitting in the background, like, I'm so confused. And then you got this cat going, video, and I'm gonna sell that motherfucker on Amazon.
Shit.
You can make everything disgusting if you want to. Yeah. I mean, that's just me bored at a laundromat a couple years ago. So anybody that wants to make an issue of something, they can. Even if it's the most harmless thing in the world, like a goddamn claw machine that you would see at an arcade. You can twist that shit like a motherfucker any which way.
Exactly. I mean, again, anybody who's ever been a victim of grooming and pedoism, while all the consoles and PCs and shit, you know, come over here and talk about it. Feel free. You know, again, we don't judge. This place where you can be yourself and be honest, you know.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it is a crazy time because of this whole damn ideological crap kids are going through.
Yeah.
I think the best place for these sick fucks is Alcatraz.
Nah, don't ruin a good freaking museum for those people. Nah. I say just stick them all on Epstein's Island and then drop a warhead, maybe. I don't know. Or maybe turn Epstein's Island into a prison. You know, Trump's talking about, oh, we want to turn something into a prison. Turn Epstein's Island into a prison.
Yeah.
There you go. They'd feel right at fucking home, wouldn't they?
Exactly.
We ought to start petitioning this. Turn Epstein's Island into a prison for all his clientele, and they all have to live there for the rest of their lives.
There are a few prisons up in the Midwest that's been abandoned, even up in the Montana territories, all places, and even somewhere back east or down south, someplace, and turn that into a prison for pedos and groomers, because again, although over there they can suck fucking fondle themselves. And plus,
not condoning violence, but we all know it's going to happen. So let's just not mince words.
I mean, of course, you got Catholic priests that are that do love to suck fondle, but in a very disgusting way. So how about they do it themselves in prison? Lock them up, lock them all up.
Yeah.
Saying
there's a lot of people that belong in prison that aren't in prison.
Or saying teachers, clergymen, coaches, shit.
Yeah. So what other angles you want to cover here?
How about that movie that was a Golden Globe winner? I can't remember what award winner that was.
That really narrows it down, bro.
No. The thing is, a few years ago, there's a movie that came out, and a true story about the Boston Globe investigating to expose the Catholic Church in Boston.
Okay.
It became the #1 movie that whole entire year.
Huh.
And it that movie made a point that, hey, it don't matter if you wore a scout uniform, a clergy outfit, whatever it is, you belong in prison. You belong locked up. Okay. Now the thing is, when a Catholic priest gets caught, what happens? They get sent somewhere else,
and the family gets paid off.
Yeah, they get paid off. They shut the fuck up. Take the money. Take the money to a charity to protect kids, to educate parents on is it really nice to go to a church that has pedophile priest that harms your altar boys?
Yeah.
To be honest, I mean, where I sit, I would rather just beat the shit out of the priest, man.
Yeah, and in many cases that does happen, I'm sure.
Give him an hour of Holy Marys to the jaw, man. Holy crap.
Yeah. Most people are not happy and accepting about the outcomes of these situations. And the problem is there's too much hush money being paid out and too many people hushing up. They need to not hush up, and they need to be more vocal about it, and there needs to be a lot more pushback on this shit. And there's more that we can do as parents and adults to make sure that our kids stay safe, because the government's not going to do it. They're just going to use it to create more control over us.
See,
so we need to step up and make sure that our kids are safe. And when somebody does try to do dirt, handle business.
When Jesus said, hey, exactly. When Jesus said, hey, little children, come on to me, that's not what he's talking about.
Yeah, he said, come unto me, not me come unto the little kids. Yes. No. Not Mr. Catholic priest jerk off on the little kids. No. Suffer not the little children.
Here's the fact, folks. A good majority of the Catholic Church, all pedos.
There's good and bad in every organization, whether we like to admit it or not. Catholics, Protestants, Mormon, Jehovah's Witnesses.
Mormon. Look. For example, okay. Here's an example. Fundamentalist.
Yeah.
Fundamentalist.
Yeah.
Including the Mormon fundamentalist. Those are sick fucks.
Suck on my red thing. Peedoes, you can suck on my red thing. Yeah.
Warren Jeffs, a few over decades ago, got
Yeah,
set
the
up,
FLDS compound.
yeah, in Utah and New Mexico.
Yeah. Well, let's not mince words. These splinter groups are not the same as the actual the actual churches. The FLDS and the LDS have nothing to do with each other.
No.
Any more than a lot of these, any more than what the priest did is a reflection of all the Catholic community. It's not. You just have some bad apples doing bad shit, and it's everywhere. It's in every facet of life, and you just got to weed it out.
It is.
And make sure it's brought to light and brought to justice.
Because what's in the dark will come to the light.
Yep. And the dark hates the light.
Exactly. All right, folks, we're gonna have to. It's time to put the turkey in the oven, and we've gone as far as we can. This is the last of the This is the last of the trilogy, and well, thank you guys for watching. Be part of the trilogy here, and
yep. Tuning
Parents,
in, watching Great Jedi TV.
Next week,
weirdly enough, this is his show, but I'm the one with the damn lightsaber. Go figure that out.
Next week, we're going to talk about a highly, highly controversial thing to Matt and I.
Trump's small hands?
It's probably enough to fit up his daughter's ass. Probably, I don't know, or Melania's ass, or one of the things. We're going to talk about. It'll be part one of another trilogy. Hollywood and the occult.
I like that.
And this is going to be a really, really not just that, but also the following week after that, we're going to talk about pedophilia in Hollywood and the lives lost because of it.
There you go.
Next week on Great Jedi TV at 6:00 p.m. Pacific time, 8 Central, 11 Eastern. And lives have been lost during that
ordeal.
Yeah, big time. So we will let's guys go. If you guys are new to this channel, like, subscribe, comment below, the bell for notification. Always live healthy, happy, and wise. We love you guys. I'm Reverend Ordo. Like a buddy,
Man with Worldwide Systems Network.
Peace out. Godspeed. Buddha bless. And quote the Raven, these nuts.
God bless you all.